thumbs up, some type of reaction. All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, if you can just please share this, the more people that are come on, the more people we can kind of get connected to and also help. Welcome to Radio Silent Play on this Sunday, January 9th, 2022. This is our first Twitter Spaces. Happy New Year, everyone. Before we start, I'm just going to give you guys a brief disclaimer just to protect yourself and myself. I am not a financial advisor. Anything that I say or mention is for educational purposes only. I may or may not hold some of the stocks that I mentioned. Please remember to do your own research before trading any stock or options. Trading stocks and options require lots of risk. So, what I like to do previously is just to go over market sentiment, kind of look forward to the type of trading that we're looking for. So, I'm just going to recap in my eyes how the market is right now. So if I look at the overall market, okay, the markets from the new year were breaking all-time highs. Okay, now overall it's actually rolled over and now you have a key test on both the S&P and the Nasdaq. You're testing that 50-day moving average clear support. So what you're seeing right now is the Fed minutes continue to talk about raising interest rates, so they are hawkish, causing the market to actually pull back. You are still in a uptrend. Nothing has changed. What we are witnessing, though, is that there's a lot of uncertainty. Whenever there's uncertainty, there's going to be more sellers than buyers. You are seeing that with the IWM. Clearly, you're seeing that with the IWM. As soon as you think that the market is starting to put in that bottom, you start seeing that stocks tend to gap down on on sentiment. You had the IWM trading and finally breaking above the 200-day moving average, and you actually confirmed, and then the following day just rolled over. So, if you're following charts, it's becoming very, very challenging for the overall broader markets. But overall, you have to understand that you still are in a significant uptrend. Okay, as far as a deflationary kind of period where you're going to see markets collapse, I don't see that. I don't really see them. If they do transition to bond buying, slowing down or tapering bond buying, I can understand that, but I don't see them raising interest rates really quick. That creates market disruptions. From experience, I don't know. I'm living in New York. I'm going into supermarkets, and you're seeing less product in the supermarkets. I know I just got back from Stop and Shop, I think it was, and we actually started seeing um, not not as much meat, not as much a milk, and also orange juice. So there is a disruption. So keep an eye and write this down on the XLE, which is the energy sector. Whenever you start seeing service disruptions or delivery disruptions, you're going to see a spike in oil. Okay, oil is something that you have to kind of gauge. Remember, the big banks are heavily invested in oil. If you look at the XLE, you see the markets pulling back. You're actually seeing the XLE, the energy sector, bounce and really, really start to trade much higher. Extremely bullish sector, the energy sector. So the XLE is something that you can correlate if you're trading OTCs, if you're trading small caps, maybe that's a sector that you want to look at. Another news that we saw were NFTs. We saw GameStop, okay, put out a NFT marketplace news, and you actually saw GameStop gap up and start trading 30% above its lows, now its putting in the bottom. So what you want to kind of look at is you want to see things that are kind of showing you potential, right? So if I look at NFT stocks or NFT related stocks, I'm gonna look at that for a potential move. We did mention some stocks in the metaverse as far as small caps, but when you really look at who's really making the money and who's really signaling the bottom, I'm noticing that OTC markets have taken that cake. Um, Anything metaverse news is running. We saw ticker symbol WDRP rally this week. This is a stock that put in a new floor and a low at 0.0025 and then spiked up. I think we hit a high of 0.0098. OWOV continues to trade strong. OWV So anything that's related as far as the OTCs in the metaverse, we're starting to see these continue to move higher. If you look at OWV, now you're putting in key levels of support at that 30-day moving average. All right. So I like to use the 8, 21, 34-day moving average on stocks that continue to make a nice move. We saw that with ticker symbol SAPX. This is a stock that we sent out, I think, around 0.0017 to 0.002s. And now that thing is trading at all-time highs at 69. I would use the 8, 21, 34-day moving average here. The 8-day moving average continues to move up, and it's a stock that continues to get bought at that 8-day moving average. Right now, I'm more bullish on OTCs because you have continuation. You're seeing stocks hold on to their gains. Um, Small caps I do like, as far as maybe building in a one or two position and looking at stocks that are showing us a stochastic RSI that's oversold, or if I'm looking at stocks that I see in solid uptrends. I talked to my guys in the Discord, and we talked about ticker symbol UEC, which is Uranium Corp. That was a stock that we picked up around that $3 range, and now it recently traded above $4. So try to find stocks that are showing you good levels as far as good uptrends. If you're going to look, look for patterns, even though it's a little bit more difficult to pinpoint these patterns because there's more sellers than buyers. Um, but overall, there are some bottom stocks that gave us good opportunity. There was a stock DXF that pulled back. I think it gave us an entry as low as 80. I'm going to say 86, and then hit a high of $1.16, and now it's pulling back. But for the most part, you have to kind of readjust your PPMs, your personal profit margins, because sometimes right now, for you to take on massive risk to see if stocks are going to kind of, you know, follow through and continuation with small caps, you're not seeing that, but you are seeing that with OTCs. You are seeing stocks being bought back on pullbacks, and sectors that you're really seeing strengthen are these NFT metaverse stocks in the OTC. So I really like what the OTC is showing us. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to primarily kind of just like forget about everything else. We do have Bitcoin that's struggling to hold, above key levels. Um, I I'm a contrarian. Right now, your fear and greed index. Right now, we're at fear, and with a level of 10, with extreme fear on Bitcoin. I think that looking for a 37 to 39 pullback, we may not see that 37,000, but I think 39,000, you can start looking at purchasing your favorite cryptos. I still, if you look at the monthly chart, you are still in an uptrend. Bitcoin still remains being a deflationary asset. Ethereum as well. We're looking for a triple halving into quarter one, quarter two. So I still think that there's opportunity. To say that, this is a learning experience, and to be bitter about crypto pulling back, just remember the perfect opportunities to buy stocks are when they pull back, because they give you much more upside potential. Now, if you are going to add, just come up with a number that you're going to abide by as far as a stop. All right. Whenever you get into any type of a stock or any type of a position, always garner a floor, or always find a buy zone and distinguish some type of a floor to mitigate risk. So let me give you an example. If I'm going into Bitcoin and I'm buying between 37,000 to 43,000, and I say to myself, okay, if it closes below 37,000 2 weeks in a row, then I'm going to mitigate risk and I'm going to exit my position. That's how I'm looking at the markets right now. So entirely, that's how we should be doing it all around, right? Because if you look, a lot of people, what they tend to do is they lose money when they don't have a plan or it's not structured. And I know towards the end of the year, I was expecting a massive rally. I think we were all expecting a massive rally. We didn't get that rally. We started doing other things. I ended up going to Baja California, and I said, you know what? I'm going to hold on to my positions. And then when I came back, it was like, holy shit, we even went lower. So sometimes we defer from our plans, but now that's an experience. So understanding that experience, if I'm buying ticker symbol HIVE, if we know that the markets are pulling back on us and these levels aren't holding, Just exit that position, right, at a floor, and then say to yourself, or go into your log and write the date down, write the price that you exited, and then say to yourself, if I come back 30 days after the fact and I reassess the position, then I could look to buy the position. But it is a more challenging market. I noticed that a lot of people are going into um, options right now, and a lot of people are scalping options. And for some, it's easy. For some, it's harder, right? So you can try different things. Overall, just remember that the objective of doing this is to overall build wealth. But while we're building wealth, is to enjoy this. If you're not enjoying something, then you have to take a step back and then reassess, right? Overall, we understand that the dollar continues to lose 20% per annum. I always say that. I'm like a broken record with that. And we are in what you call a a time frame where it's uncertain. Anytime you're gonna have uncertainty, you're gonna have less buyers. Okay, so how I'm approaching this market, if I am looking for bottom plays, I'm not gonna buy that many. Okay, this is for small caps. I may have a lower stock to cash ratio. Okay, what that means is I may hold maybe a 30% stock, 70% cash ratio, or I might go 40%. It depends on you. This is something that you have to choose as a personal choice. Overall, I'm feeling OTCs a little bit better. If I look at the overall OTCs, you're getting a good amount of volume on OTCs, and if you look, a lot of stocks are basically putting in floors, and you're not seeing them retest those floors. And what I mean by that is, take a stock like BTDG, which I was pushing or I was mentioning for the last couple of days. That stock put in a floor at 0.0021, has never retested that floor, and we saw a high of 44, and we actually pulled back to 28, testing that 8-day moving average. And they've been putting out pretty good news, right? They're expanding, they're creating revenues. They're now in 20 states. So you're seeing that these companies are starting to kind of press release, and people are holding on to these stocks. Another stock that we're seeing continue to post news is ticker symbol OWV. They're purchasing um, land, right, in the metaverse via Sandbox. Sandbox is basically one of the leaders of the metaverse. So they're doing things, right? We're also seeing stocks like WDRP that they're saying share reduction to a stock that doesn't even have that many shares. And now you're seeing these stocks pull back and they're giving you upside potential. A stock like ticker symbol Swarm, AppSwarm, right? They're building the technology behind the metaverse. So they're building applications for companies like TGHI. I like the AppSwarm a little bit better because they're not planning to reverse split. But at the same time, sometimes these stocks tend to retrace, right? As long as you have a plan, right, you're selling on the way up. And then when stocks pull back, it's not to say that you're selling your entire position, but just remember supply and demand chain. If you bought a supply of SWRM between 70 and 90, right? Or let's say when it pulled back down to the 60s, it's going to be very difficult to get those 60s back. So why would I sell my entire position? Maybe I'll sell 50 to 75% of my position and then hold on to 25% just in case. But we're starting to see follow through, and I'm excited for the OTCs. As far as crypto, the way I see it, we've made a considerable money since buying Ethereum from $800, buying Bitcoin at $30,000. We had a massive move to 69,000. That's a 2x for Bitcoin. You have to be able to lock profits on the way up, okay? Because when you pull back, this is going to give you an opportunity to start adding to your position again. So remember, when stocks or any type of asset starts garnering its value, don't be afraid to lock profits on the way up. Okay, Sandbox. I think we traded and we picked up Sandbox at 80 cents. Thing went to $8. You have to lock profits on the way up. This is just a given for any type of asset. Overall, we have to have dry hands, right? We can't be nervous about this. Emotions will lead to losses, right? And you want to be as strict as possible when you're trading this market, but at the same time, don't focus on the negative. And I had a mentorship this weekend and I gave them this analogy. And I didn't come up with this analogy, by the way, but somebody had said it. I don't remember where I picked it up, but don't look at things through the negative. perspective or a negative aspect. And what I mean by that is, don't say when you buy the stock, if the thing pulls back right away, I'm going to stop out. Don't think like that. Mitigate your risk, but don't look at it through there. Just say, I'm going to hit my PPM at this number, but if it stops out and it closes below this floor, I'm going to exit that position. And how I correlate that is I correlate it with a skier, right? A professional skier has to go down slopes and they're going to see trees and massive amounts of trees. Can you imagine if this skier is going down the slope and thinks to himself, I'm going down the slope, but I'm not going to hit a tree. I'm not going to hit a tree. I'm not going to hit a tree. The focus on not hitting a tree, guess what? You're going to hit the tree. Okay? Focus on the path. Focus on the snow. Okay? Right now, because I see metaverse, I see NFT, I'm going to focus on that. Because I see energy, I'm going to focus on energy. Because I know these are high tides for excess amount of people, keeping their homes warm. I'm going to look at energy, right? So anything that I see that deems that is in the now, then I'm gonna look and I'm gonna approach that, right? We had Trump, DWAC, right? DWAC. And then people started buying stocks like not FRSX, but Mark. People started looking at stocks like Fun. Okay, people started they even started buying ticker symbol GBHL with the Trump documentary. So follow the path. Follow the path. Sometimes it seems like it's not easy, but just remember, when I tweet or when I'm mentioning something on Discord, I'm mentioning it for a reason, right? I'm mentioning it because I see it. I'm not over here selling you guys pipe dreams. I'm not selling you snake oil. If I tell you that I like BTDG because it was at 27 and I'm witnessing a floor at 21 and they put out news that they're expanding and they're making money, I'm showing you proof. It's not so, this isn't a pissing contest. And I think that that's what this has become, where you got to follow the one that's really cool. I think in the last month, I haven't been posting as much and I've lost a lot of people. I'm not going to post a lot of shit if there's really nothing to post. I don't want you guys to really blow up your accounts. Now, I will get some things wrong and I will get some things right, but that's just part of life, right? The world operates in duality, right? Or some people think non-duality. There is no right or wrong experience, right? You can't have the darkness or you can't have the sun without the darkness, right? You have to have one to experience the other. It's the same thing, okay? But overall, just understand that your belief is very, very powerful. Now, with that said, I'm going to invite Hustle to come on. Hustle, I'm glad to see him back. I'm kind of fighting a cold or a sore throat. I was actually training really, really strong, and the other day it was really cold. I am back in New York, transitioning to get out of New York, but I'm still training, and I kind of got a sore throat, so I apologize for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite um, Hustle to co-host. Let's see if he comes on. Okay, let's see if he comes on. I almost forgot how to do this. Good evening, Hustle. What's going on? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Radio? How you doing, man?
Good, good. Just a little sore throat, so but
Yeah,
I'm gonna carry on. How you been? How's
yeah.
everything?
Good. Well, it must be real cold over
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. It's really cold down here in New York.
Mm.
But this is part of being in New York. You get used to it. But now it's like you can't cough. God forbid you cough or sneeze. Now they're saying
Yeah,
that there's a new hybrid called the Deltacron. I mean, this
yeah, I heard
brings back memories of the Transformers.
the,
I love that
the
show.
flow, the Florona. You ever heard of
Yeah,
the Florona? That one's
that's the
coming
new
back.
one.
Yeah,
Right.
the
So,
Florona.
so it keeps evolving. But overall,
Yeah.
that's the sentiment right now. I mean, we were trying to catch these bottoms and you're seeing opportunities to lock profits on the way up, but you're not seeing drastic moves in the small caps, but you are seeing these moves on the OTC. And the beauty of the OTC is that they're sustaining these moves. What's your take on what you're seeing in the markets right now?
Right now, man, I'm loving it because everybody's really hot on the OTC, and to me, that means the moves are gonna last longer. I think people are holding. their positions longer. They're not looking to scalp. There's less stocks in the OTC.
Right.
And so, I'm excited about this time because we're gonna see bigger moves now in the next 3 months.
Right. So you had a 2.4 billion in dollar volume, and you had share volume of 14.3 billion with trades of 377,000. And for the most part, you had a considerable green account, and you're seeing consistent news. I remember when the markets were a little bit kind of lackluster, people weren't really looking at news. Anytime they're seeing the word metaverse, you're seeing these stocks kind of gap up, and they still continue to gap up. And when they pull back, people are buying these stocks. So it's really really showing its strength. So I'm looking forward to continuing it. I still think that we're gonna see market highs. Um,
Hmm.
Heading into February. I think we're really in the beginning stages. I think we'll get to a situation where they won't be able to raise interest rates. They'll keep talking hawkish, but I think that overall we have another 13, 18 months of higher highs with the markets. I don't see a deflationary period happening anytime soon. I still think that we're going to see Bitcoin rally. I think a lot of people are starting to like really not talk about Bitcoin, and I think that a lot of people are selling to the big wigs. I'm over here at Deutsche Bank. I'm listening to a lot of scuttlebutt here that they really want to kind of incorporate digital currencies. I think that's the future. Digital currencies. You're seeing banks. You're talking about governments as well. Talking about central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. I think that's the future. So as much as people want to say that Bitcoin is done, I don't think it is, and I think that keep your list of stocks, and write down stocks that are integrated with crypto, anything like Voyager.
Yeah.
If you're looking at stocks, there's one that I really like, and it's a metaverse stock too, and it actually kissed a new 52-week low this Friday, and that's ticker symbol SYSX. That's a stock that used to trade at $15, and it's trading at 17 cents. So if you guys want to write that down, it's ticker symbol SYSX. They actually have augmented reality (VR). It is a metaverse stock, and they actually have a board member that many of you probably know, and that's Michael Bay. And I think that this could be a major winner, especially if we start seeing these guys kind of pick up on it. Right? We saw stocks like Gamer, GMER. We're seeing tickers like OWV start to rally. This is a big name, Michael Bay. So you're starting to see that there are potentials, and they hold over $6 million worth of Ethereum. Now, if Ethereum goes, you know, 2.0 Ethereum and it becomes deflationary, right? What's going to happen to the value of Ethereum, right? We could see a massive jump. Now, I could see 14, maybe 20,000 Ethereum at some point, and they'll be loaded with Ethereum. So these are things that I look at. Even if they're pulling back a little bit, it's a why not stock, right? Why not buy this at this level and then keep it in my portfolio? I see Tactical Trader here. He's traded stocks that have been trading, that were trading and continue to trade higher, like OWV. You see in Swarm. So sometimes I like to buy these stocks. If they're really beaten down, it's a why not stock. If a stock was trading at 15 bucks, it's a why not stock, and now it's trading at $17. Now, if I am buying that, I'll look at the weekly chart and distinguish some type of a floor. Maybe I'll say to myself, hey man, I'll buy this, but if it closes below, let's say 14 cents on two consecutive closes, I'll exit. You have to make sure that every single stock that you buy, you have a a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Tactical Trader, big boxing fan. So yeah, I like Tactical Trader.
Yeah. So
Um,
any
Listen, that what you were saying about crypto, going down. It's weird because these crypto stocks are not going down in the OTC. I guess that has to do with the NFTs, and because all these crypto stocks are now starting to get into that. So we thought they were going to pull back along with BTC, but they're really not.
right. So one of the things that we were talking about in previous spaces, we always said that NFTs and play to earn was probably going to be
Mhm.
the future. Then Metaverse came out, and now it's really play to earn. I think the NFT play to earn is something that's not tapped in. I think I was reading an article that Sega, I don't know if you remember Sega Genesis, Sega was actually thinking about
Mhm.
getting into NFT. So, but they got a lot of flack from it. So one of the things that's
Mhm.
happening right now is that these big premier gaming, they're free to earn. I mean, free to play, right? They're not play to earn. But
Yeah.
once you start seeing these big wigs like Nintendo, you see these companies like Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, Microsoft. When you start seeing these people start integrating this stuff, which I feel is the future, because if you're not going to work anymore and people are making money, if you look at Venezuela, it's one of the highest earners is playing Axie Infinity, right? So they're making money by playing a video game. So I think it's in its inception. That's why I think that buying these cryptos play a good risk reward. Remember when we were talking about RE, nobody wanted to touch AURI and it pulled back. I think it
Yeah.
pulled back all the way down to like 17 or 0.0017 to 20, and then it rallied. I think it hit a high of like 77 or something, and now it's pulling back. Or ADHC is another one. So these are things that I don't mind buying with a buy set forget mentality. But as long as I create some type
Mhm.
of a floor, I'm seeing that these are the stocks that people are jumping on. And you're seeing these heavily bloated companies get into these NFTs too and gaming. We have stocks like VNTH, ticker symbol like TONR. Even with the bloated share structures, people are still buying them. So what that's telling
Yeah.
me is that that sector is extremely strong. So if I could find something that has like a very, very low share structure that has been beaten down, and now they're saying they're with, you know, going into the metaverse, and I'm finding tweets that they're getting into the metaverse or they're creating sponsorships with great companies. That's what I want. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
want to find good quality companies that are beaten down right now, that nobody's really paying attention to it, that I can say, okay, if I buy this, I could buy it at this level and I'll use this floor in case it breaks below my floor. And if you notice, a lot of these stocks are putting in these floors. Case in point, look at HIPH, a beautiful stock that put in its floor. I think we kissed a low of 21 and now it's trading between 25 and 30. They actually put out news in November about NFT play to earn. So it's going to be interesting if they're seeing this thing play out and maybe put out some news, and then you're already in it, right? You get a beautiful news, and then you start seeing a beautiful gap up, right? So that's what we want to start looking at. We want to start looking for good potential setups that are giving us a floor, and why not add at these
Mhm.
levels and potentially lock on these moves, right? Because we're seeing that, and now
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but i'm like I'm like really excited about adding things. I think that before we had the
Yeah.
DeLarge effect, which nothing against DeLarge. I wish him the best. I hope he's doing well. But a lot of people were scared, right? There was a very, very much emotional kind of sentiment in, Twitterverse where people were afraid to
Mhm.
post or they started posting less. And I think that maybe it caused people to kind of wake up a little bit and say, you know what, if I'm on post, I'm just gonna post some charts, I'm gonna post some volume, I'm gonna post some factual things. And I think that that's what
Mhm.
people are kind of looking at, and it's been playing out, man. I think that
Mhm.
people are
Well,
looking forward to trading
yeah.
these OTCs now.
Well, that what you were talking about. Plus, at that time, the market was really
Oh yeah,
taking a
yeah. It
hit,
was really really choppy.
so
It was really
it was
frothy.
like a
A
double
lot of
whammy.
people were there were more
Mhm.
sellers than buyers. I mean, look at people. They were just
Yeah.
selling stock just to sell stock, and just these stocks were creating new floors after new floors every day. Um, but now
Mhm.
look at those people that bought these stocks really cheap. They made some good money,
Yeah.
right? I think ADHC
Mhm.
pulled back to like 0.002, and that thing rallied really
Yeah.
nice. OWUV,
Yeah. I think.
what did that pull back to? 0.017. That was
Yeah.
very difficult to get at that level. And then it did what it did.
Mhm.
So, I mean, sometimes you
Yeah.
need those times.
ADHC. I think that's right back in the buy zone right now. ADHC. Let me look. Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, ADHC right now is holding that
ADHC is where is that?
0.002
20.
level. Yeah. and it's trading
Yeah.
between 20 and
Yeah.
25, which I think is going to be a good level to start buying that back. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like this,
Mhm.
and I think that people are more resonating. I know in my Discord chat room a little bit, a couple of people are more vocal. I know I took a little step
Right.
back. I was trading cryptos, which I think cryptos
Mhm.
have an opportunity as well. But heading into 2022, look at the market as building wealth, right? Look at the market as something that I'm going to grow, right? And I'm going to mitigate risk by being very structured and being very
Mhm.
strict, right? Now, when you do make your gains, don't just leave everything in your account. When you reach a goal, why not, take some money out or take 2 to 5% and put it into
Mhm.
an asset that's maybe deflationary.
Yep.
Maybe put it into some Bitcoin or pay off a little bit of your
Yeah.
mortgage or pay off some debt, right? That's a, that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't do this last run. And I think that that
What do you
hurt.
think with the with what do you think with these interest rates? They're talking about raising interest rates. So what do you think about the real estate market?
Well, I think look, listen. I think that a lot of this Gen Z people they don't want to buy real estate now. If you're looking at people
Mm.
right now, the nuclear family, man, they just really don't want to build families right now. I really feel that you're hitting a market top with real estate. But with that said, real estate is coming out with new technology, right? Anything blockchain, technology through real estate, NFTs, metaverse, being able
Yeah.
to go into and checking out a condo, and not being there,
Yeah.
putting a virtual reality kind of or augmented reality like you're there. So I think real estate is transitioning because look, you're seeing people
Yeah.
now buying fake real estate, right? In the metaverse. And you would think, man, people are buying fake real estate. You would think that's fucking, I mean, I don't even want to say that. It's crazy. I was gonna say a bad word, but it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
like you're buying things in the
Yeah.
metaverse that's $200,000, a quarter of $1 million or a half a million,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't pay that for, a regular house. So now think about it. If they start
Yeah.
raising interest rates, everybody's gonna look to start
Yeah.
selling, and then there's gonna be such a high
Yeah.
amount of houses to be sold and no buyers. It's gonna drive the price of the prices of real estate down. So when I look at that, do you really think that these guys are going to raise interest rates? We're heading into midterm elections soon, right? Do you really think that these guys want to give up their power? I mean, I don't think so,
Right.
man. It's a
Yeah.
gauge. Even though the economy is not a gauge by, the stock market, people look at it as that. They look at it as success. So if you saw last tweet of Joe Biden, how he said that the stock market is up, and he's giving himself props, it really doesn't gauge the economy, but they look at it like that. So do you think that they really
Yeah.
want to spike rates so the market could go to shit, and then they could be like, man, these guys just, you know, bamboozled the entire market. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna
Yeah.
take a lot of flack for it. So I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we still haven't seen October lows, right? If you look at the
Mhm.
transports, if you look at the S&P, if you look at the industrials, right, the Dow Industrial, you're not really trading at lows. The
Right.
only thing is that there's uncertainty because every time these guys go on, the TV or the Federal Reserve, and now because we have a dissemination of information, they start talking shit, and then everybody starts
Yeah.
panicking and they start selling.
They get
They start
scared.
getting
They get
scared,
scared. Yeah.
and they don't think,
Yeah.
wait a minute, man, this shit was up 15-20% yesterday, and now I'm just selling it off, and then it creates a trickling effect, a waterfall effect.
So that being said, um, why does that not count for the OTC?
You know why? Because money has to flow somewhere. Money can't just stay stagnant. So because people don't want to get into crypto now because they're fearing that it's gonna go and keep going down. Everybody's saying that it's going to go down to zero. They don't want to go into crypto. They're seeing small caps really. You go in and a guy that posts on his social media, or he posts on his Discord, and the stock is up 25, 30, 50%, and then they chase it, and then they see as soon as they buy the shit tanks, they're like, oh shit, here we go again. I'm losing money again. So people don't like that shit. So they say, you know what? Let me go buy an OTC. Let me go buy an OTC that's bottom. I don't see it go any lower, and I'm just gonna buy, set, and forget it, and hold it. So money is starting to flow. It has to flow somewhere. It's like when the
Right.
dollar is strong, people get out of the market, right? Because then that's considered deflationary. And then they're like holding that dollar and they're saying, where am I going to put this money to make money? And I think right now you're seeing a lot more people posting on the OTCs. You're seeing good gains. You're seeing tickers like APTY, APTY that hit a low of 0.01, right? Rally and finally break above a key level of resistance at 0.014. And then the people are like, yes, I'm gonna buy this shit now because it created
That's when they started coming in.
created that floor.
Right.
So if you notice, I was really tactical with that because I wasn't really posting on APTY. I wanted to see that break. When I saw that break, I was like, okay, this is the time to post it because now that 1.4 becomes your support. So you know that the stock hit a high of 3 cents and you're buying at a clear break at 0.014. And now all you say to yourself, if it closes below the previous low support of 1.1, I get the fuck out. You understand me? And I could sell this at 2.56 to 3 cents. And now guess what? If we break above 3 cents, right? What's gonna happen? We break above 3 cents, we go 1.8% extension from that. Balances of probability. Remember, we're not trading certainties. We can hit 0.045. That's a nice move from 0.014. So I'll take the trade. Right. And now we have to look at what's the problematic thing right now. Bitcoin, right? It's unstable. It continues to go down. You need stability. And who's getting audited right now? Binance. Why are they getting audited? Because of Tether. So they need a stable coin. They need a stable coin. Because a person was like, hey, but aren't you worried that Tether's gonna go to shit and they're doing regulation with stable coins? I'm like, no, that's what we want.
I think that's
good. That's a good thing because then they take it seriously, right? Not only do they take it seriously, but now this is backed up by something. It's backed up by a dollar and it's backed by some precious metals, right? So if
gold,
right,
and where gold, and where's gold headed?
And
gold and oil.
Gold is bouncing. It's looking pretty good right now.
Yep.
So why I tell you this is because you have to look at signs, right? The other day I sent you, I think it was today or yesterday, I sent you a tweet, right? And the tweet said that Binance bought 43,000. They bought 1.7 billion of Bitcoin. Now think about this. They're using Tether to buy Bitcoin. And remember, I talked to students and I also talked to Discord. The moment you see, okay, Binance start to buy, that means that they're going to drive the price of Bitcoin. Binance is the biggest market in the crypto world, right? If they owe money to investors, if they sold more Tether than more dollars that they hold, they got to make that money back because they got to pay this back. So before they get audited, that was a sign to me. So look, my hands, if you hear them, they're dry. They're dry because I know that overall I bought Bitcoin cheap, and even if I buy it back here, I know it's deflationary. 21 million satoshis out there, and some of it has been lost. Now, is it a risk? Yes, 100% guaranteed. Everything that we trade is a risk, but overall, mitigate your risk, right? So, and if you mitigate your risk, then you have nothing to worry about. Now, if you buy some shit and you just don't look at it, like you don't look at your bank account when you take money out of your account, then you're operating in the not have. You're operating in fear because you don't want to see how much you have there. Don't do that. Always be in that belief of the have. And it's very important. And I talked to my guys and I said, look, you guys got to get back to what got you here, right? And part of it is confidence, belief. Do your meditations. Remember, you are player one. The kingdom of heaven is within.
That's right.
And a lot of people are not doing that. They're listening to the news. They're listening to all this fucking, mumbo jumbo that's coming out there, and it's creating them to be more emotional. And you can't do that. And look, and it happens to me. I think we had a conversation the other day, and you told me, hey man, you got to believe. You got to believe. And that's all you told me. That's one of the, but in the end, okay, it's basically you're playing Fortnite, right? And as you're moving forward, the world, the universe expands, right? It's the same shit here. So do your chief definite aim. If you're doing your meditations in the morning, get back to doing it. If you're drinking your teas, start taking care of your health. Go to sleep a little
Right.
bit earlier. Wake up a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Go do your workouts, right? Get your
You know
mind right.
the
Your
yeah
mind has to be right.
the collective
Hmm.
consciousness is underrated.
Oh man.
That's why I'm always that's why I'm always posting that little cartoon kid. Believe, believe, believe. If people see that, believe, their mindsets are gonna change from negative to
Right.
positive.
It's not like if it pulls back one or two ticks, you're like, oh shit, the sky is falling. No,
Right.
if it's above your
Right.
floor, okay, and you have somewhat of conviction because that's where you started purchasing. If it pulls back and you still have money to invest in there, if you still have what you're saying, your I guess your investment, what you're willing to buy, then use that as an opportunity to add to your position. But have that belief, the belief to hold,
Yeah.
the belief to step
Yep.
away, right? And to go back and look at it and assess it. You know what I mean? And that's how I've been
Yeah.
doing lately, and I've been feeling more confident about my trades. Now,
Yeah.
have
You've
I
been
have
feeling
I
good.
lost
You've
on
been
some
feeling good.
setups? Yeah, of course.
Of course. Of
Part
course.
of it. We want to win more than what we lose.
Hmm. That's right. That's right. So what do you got? What are you looking at going into next
So
week?
I'm looking at the XLE. I'm looking at energy stocks.
Hmm.
We do have some
Hmm.
stocks that are kind of pulling back. A lot of stocks are breaking below floors. What I would look at is I would put the 8, 21, 34, 50, 100, 200, put all those moving averages there. That's what I would use. I would go and use the weekly chart and I would use a stochastic RSI for small caps. You want to look at stocks that are related to energy. Nothing pops into mind right now, but I will be looking at certain things. I don't want to mention anything right now because I want to see what the XLE, if it pulls back to that 8-day moving average. But I am going to say some in the OTCs. I do like the CGRA. Okay. And why I like that CGRA is because it did pull back to that zero point zero 0.01 level and it held. And then you closed above the
Hmm.
8-day moving average at 0.012. So you're seeing that stock really hold. That's a stock that hit a high of 3 cents. And not only that,
Right.
okay, they have a couple of pending news, right? Basin, I believe,
Yes, sir.
in
Yep.
Bahamas,
Bahamas.
and I think that they have,
Yeah, and
and they have
Wyoming.
one in Wyoming, right? And not only that is,
Right.
I like the way the CEO uses his Twitter as strategic flow of information. He doesn't tweet that much, but he tweets, and when
Right.
he tweets, the stock tends to kind of catch a bid. All right, so I do like that
Right.
one. Another one that I do like
Hmm.
that posted news the other day, and I spoke about it, is an artificial intelligence. We are still in supply chain disruption, and we also have a
Hmm.
massive disruption in workers, right? These guys
Yep.
basically do two in one, right? They have a Wanda, um, a robot that goes and cleans areas up with a UV light,
Yep.
right? And you can use it mobily, also commercially. So they have one for mobile use or for family use, and they have one for commercial. And now they actually created something called the Pull Buddy. And the thing like Pull Buddy, um, it basically takes away from having to have workers because it actually moves and distributes, helps with distribution. So I think that artificial intelligence automation is going to be something that's going to be strong. I just love how that stock put in a floor at 0.015, and now we closed at the high at 0.023, a stock that hit a high of 7.5 the last time it ran. It's ticker symbol RGGI. I really like how that one looks. You were talking about real estate.
Yeah.
HMNU has
Yeah.
been doing very, very beautiful
Beautiful.
in a bull
Beautiful.
flag,
Beautiful place.
right?
Yep.
Very low share
Yep.
structure. They actually have a crypto
Hmm.
token that they're correlating or integrating it with real estate
Yep.
or backed by real estate.
Real estate.
They also
Yep.
make revenues,
Yep.
right? We want to make sure that we're
Yep.
buying something with
And
revenues. There's a
yep.
lot. There's the BTDG,
Yeah. They.
an
Yep.
MMA fight
Uh.
stock that's bringing in revenues. So there's a nice list. I think a lot of the
Yeah.
stocks that I posted, they're really nice levels. You
Hmm.
have the HIPH, which is
Yeah.
NFT gaming. I'm looking forward to an update on that. Um, I do like the Swarm. I know you were like, I'm waiting for a pullback. Bones, BONZ. There's just so
Yeah.
many right now, and that's the
Yeah.
good
There
thing.
is. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones. Going back to HMNU, the CEO, I guess the company tweeted that the new CEO is going to post updates next
Okay.
week, so that's going to be good, man.
And I
So
like
I'm looking forward to
right. And I like
HMME.
the way he does it too. He's very strategic with his tweets. He tweets. He doesn't
Hmm.
tweet that much, and when he does tweet, people see it. So
Yeah,
the PSRU, that's an NFT play. The SAPEX,
yeah,
like I mentioned, it's doing amazing above
yeah,
the 8-day moving average.
yeah. It
Just
has.
beautiful
Yeah,
plays. I know, again,
yeah,
I lost a lot of followers, but there's been a lot of nice plays. I just think that people are very, very
yeah.
kind of like they're not used to trading the OTCs. But like I said, when the small caps and OTCs were gone, we shifted to crypto, right? And when crypto and
Right.
small caps are kind of like waning, now we're going into the OTCs.
Now
Look,
it's
just
OT.
follow the money. It's not a pissing
Follow the money.
contest. It's not like the popularity. Who cares? Just
Right.
just trade,
It's all about making
yeah,
that
and
dough.
trade with structure, trade with a plan. And look, when I post, I always post meat and potatoes, and I'm always posting key levels. I'm never gonna sway
Yep.
you to tell you, hey man, I'm still in and doing all this bullshit. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
let you get the information, and then you can kind of decipher whether you're gonna get into that trade or not. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of guys in here listening to me. I'm not in full competition with
Yeah.
them, but they have great Twitter feeds as well, and I'm sure that they have
Yeah.
their Discord channels, and they're
Of
putting out
course.
good content
Of
too.
course.
So follow those
Yeah.
that bring opportunity, right? Follow.
But one thing that you do, okay, I'm gonna, and one thing that I do, I support the play. Like Apti, for example, you weren't posting on Apti until you saw it, but you support it. You've been supporting Apti since what, 002 or 017. So it's not like you leave a play once you profit. It's a good start. You got a library. We got a library of stocks.
Right, and I want to
And
reiterate something. Just because I don't post on a stock doesn't mean that I don't
right,
like the stock anymore. There's a couple of stocks that I'm not posting on right now, but it has to deal with timing too. For me, during the times that people were posting Apti, I felt that it still had a potential to roll over. I needed to see key levels
right,
hold. I needed to see that, and once it did, boom!
yeah,
It was okay. There you go. I used a 4 hour
that's right.
chart. It broke the pennant, retested the 0.014, and then boom, bounced above it. So
Yeah, that stock has a lot of bulls on that stock. A lot of people want to see that stock do well.
right, and
So
we are in a phase of the power of the internet too. So as much as I don't
mhm,
want to say it, the trading verse is evolving, right? There's a
that's right.
lot of good traders out there, right?
Yeah.
Do whatever works for you, right? But like I said, like
Hmm.
there's stocks that sometimes I may not post during my nightly because I tend to post at night, like maybe a couple of stocks, but
Yeah.
I'll pick the ones that kind of are speaking to me, right?
Right.
It's not because
Right.
oh okay radio, but you didn't post this one, and then the next day they're scared and then they get out. Don't do that. Follow your
Right.
floors.
Right. Because the next day it might be the one that gets
Exactly.
posted.
Exactly. And we
Yeah.
saw that with Swarm.
Yep.
We saw that with WDRP. And one of the things I want to
Right.
tell you, Hustle, because I know, and I've been monitoring the way you've been training lately.
Hmm.
I want to give you
Hmm.
massive amount of props. You were the only one on
For what?
ARGQ. Okay, at 0.004.
Mm-hmm.
You were the only one on um on the CGRA when that thing was the 0.011 levels. Um,
Yeah.
you were posting on the Swarm. And look, it's not
Right.
about getting pat on the back. Attaboy, I
Right.
got it from this
Right.
guy.
I
I'm
don't.
not saying that
Yeah.
to discredit anybody else,
Right.
but you've been locked on, and I've seen you evolve as a trader. And
Because this is what I want. I want people to get that, to see where the floor is at. And a lot of times, um, they don't want to buy the bottom. I don't know why, but they people don't like buying the bottom, or they rather buy once it starts moving. And I don't agree with that. I like buying the bottom and waiting until it starts moving. And this way, you make more profit, you know?
right, I mean, look, nothing is guaranteed.
I mean,
Not
no,
nothing
yeah.
is
I mean,
guaranteed,
everybody trades
but
different.
just remember, not everybody's gonna get that perfect bottom. And it's not about
Right.
getting the perfect bottom, but if you're scaling into a position, okay, your bottom may be different than this guy's bottom. You may
Mm-hmm.
buy this because it's a momentum trade and that's your style of trading.
Right.
You're waiting for a
Right.
significant amount of volume. It's fine,
Yeah.
okay? But
Different types.
but
Yep.
at the same time, understand that the objective of this is that everybody wants to profit, and unfortunately, not everybody is going to profit. And some people
Right.
will take a little bit more time for them to profit. Give you an example: the person that traded OWV, I highly doubt that he held 0.017 all the way up to 40 cents, right? Maybe that guy came
Right.
in and sold it at 7 cents and he thought it was a great trade, all right? But it's not done and it ended up going to 40 cents, right? So, why I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
this, don't let it be your all just because you want to get the bottom. No, it doesn't work like that. Just
Right.
create some type of a zone where you can say to yourself, okay, this is where I'm going to buy it. I didn't reach the bottom, but I know that the bottom is here, okay? Because a lot of people, and I've seen this in my room, where they get very hesitant on buying because they think that it's not going to go higher, and that happened to me. I think you had mentioned
Yeah.
a psychedelic stock and
CEOS.
CEOS.
Yep.
That stock pulled back.
Yep.
It hit a low of 0.0354. Then it rallied and hit six
Yep.
cents, and I was like, "Oh fuck that! I'm not buying it there." So, and then it pulled back, and then it gave four
Yeah.
cents, and then it rallied to
I
about
kept
nine
telling
cents,
you to get on the
and
bid.
then
Yeah.
it
I
rallied
kept
to nine
telling
cents.
you.
So, just remember, there is no perfect
Yeah.
perfection.
That was a good
Okay,
trade.
um,
Yeah, that was a good
you
one.
have to
Real quick.
understand that everything that we do involves risk. That's 100%. But
Yeah.
the way you have to approach is by being diligent with and creating a buy zone and then abiding by a floor, but look at it through a positive perspective, right? Look at it through a
Right.
perspective that the reason you're doing this is because you want the most precious thing in the world, and that's your time. You don't want to go waste your
Freedom.
time,
Yep.
in some bullshit job that you don't want to be in. And then understand that
Right.
one of the key components to this is patience, okay, and that's why they say patience is a virtue, right? So it's just something to really think about and consider.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Padded Trader, Granite, some of my boys that I trade with
Yeah,
on here, man. What's up, fellas?
yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a couple of calls. For me this week, I like these stocks like the HIPH. I really think
Yeah.
that one's gonna be really really good. I like.
Yeah. Double O twos
Oh
are
yeah,
good, man. They've been
and it's
hot
trading
lately.
above the 821.34 day moving average. You have a 200-day moving average at 50 plus. The biggest move that it had was 3.7, and we saw what SAPEX is doing now. So this is a beautiful trade. I think that out of all of them, if I could say that that's going to be the one, I would probably see, pick and choose that one. There are still other
Yeah.
beautiful trades. Like I said, I like the RGGI, um, and
Yeah.
um, you know, but OTCs is like my main kind of focus right now. What I'm kind of looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Let's see if anybody wants to come on and just say what's up. Um, see how do you check if somebody wants to come on here?
I think there's people. Somebody requested. I forgot who.
Yeah, I don't, like if somebody requests. Okay, here we go.
There you go. Storm. Storm C.
All right, Mr. Storm C. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. I was just listening in, and I've been trading a lot of different, stocks, options, recently derivatives. I had my ass handed to me with trading futures, and what I didn't realize listening to institutional money is if there's not a lot of volatility, the brokerages will eat you alive.
Oh
So
yeah.
I learned that lesson hard and fast. So I dabbled a little bit in crypto, had some wins, had some rug pulls, and
Right.
so I'm wanting to learn more about the OTC. I'm over here in Texas, and me and my homeboy, we get together and we talk stocks. And sometimes what I'm trying to figure out with the OTC is what is the catalyst, what is the underlining momentum, and then riding those trends. And sometimes you get short sighted and don't see the long term trend like what you were alluding to, Hustler.
Right.
So
Hmm.
that's part of it. I traded Mastercard's IPO, Visa's IPO, and if I knew what I knew now back then, I mean, I'd be a multimillionaire. So what I like about these spaces is you can get together with people all walks of life and kind of share ideas and create, the
Yeah,
strength, leveraging each other's knowledge and what you know. So thank you for allowing me to speak. I
absolutely.
just wanted to say, hey, I appreciate you guys and keep doing what you're
Yeah,
doing because you're creating a movement. And what happens is you start adding thousands of followers and then you create your own kind of like Shark Tank. You know what I'm saying? So I like it.
hmm, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what's up. I appreciate that, man.
I really appreciate it. So one of the things that, yeah, part of this has to be that learning curve. There's plenty of times where you think you know, but you don't, and the market is ever evolving. So I used to trade the markets on just technical analysis alone, but now it has a lot to do with awareness. A lot of these options too right now they run because there's so much interest in these options. When you're seeing all this interest in these options, it's just a flow of volume that gets in them, right? So that's something that's kind of changed the way the market and how people approach the market. So that's a guarantee. Um, but definitely, you have to kind of understand the way the OTC works is awareness, right? And it also deals with sectors, right? So everything is basically cause and effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So when you do buy these stocks, your objective is to get in, right, at a reasonable price where you know that you have a balance of probability to lock profits on the way up. Now, sometimes I know for me, I could be in a stock for a long time until it eventually goes. I can do that though. Some people don't. Some people want, oh man, let me check what the news was. Okay, these guys are pushing this. I'm gonna get into this. So there's just so much strategy involved where you can kind of like mix and match what's gonna work for you. But for me, I'm a very kind of like buy set and
discipline.
forget. Yeah, well, buy set and forget. Some of these stocks take
Yeah.
forever. You know
Yep.
that. You could be in
Yep.
a stock
And then,
for
oh
months.
shoot,
Oh
yo,
shit, now
hustle,
it's going.
yo, look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely think that a lot of people now are trading these IPOs now. Me personally, I don't like buying these IPOs when they first come out. I like bottom plays. Now people like to trade momentum trades. It just has to deal with what's the flavor, right? If that's the flavor of the month, then that's what people are gonna do. But now you're seeing guys with massive followings where they could fucking just move a stock and then they're talking about it on on mainstream news. I think they actually said that Will Mead and Zach Morris's name for a stock in the past. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean that's what it is, brother. And
Yeah, that's cool.
and these guys even
That's
know it.
pretty
So
cool though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
Anybody
not?
anybody else want to come on? Mario Vargas,
Mario. Yep. That's Mar.
Mr. Mario Vargas, what's going on?
What's up, Mar? Yeah, there you go. Unmute your mic. There you go. You there, Mar?
Here it is. Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. All
How
right.
you guys doing?
Good. Mario,
Doing good,
welcome.
man.
Good. Now, listen, man, I just came on to say, you guys know I've started trading about a year ago, and I believe that most importantly, what you guys have taught me is rules. There's rules to everything in life, and you got to make your rules up in this game, and you have to stick to them. If you don't play by the rules, you will lose. And we all have obviously gone past those rules every once in a while and take a little more risk than what we need to. But I believe what's made me a better trader is starting to go by those rules and starting to understand my floor. Um, I'm not a master trader yet, but I do read a lot, and I think the education is important. Education, educating yourself on what
Right.
you're doing. I mean, you just can't just grab these stocks and just assume that what you hear is always true. You need to understand the stocks and understand the charts and start reading those charts and learning more and more. And I believe that just that educational part right now for me, I guess I will learn more and more as I go. But that right now, learning the rules and understanding that is has been really, really, really good for me, and I appreciate you guys definitely.
Yo, hey, you know I'm real proud of you, man. I'm real proud of you, and you know I know you learning the charts and everything, and just keep doing what you're doing, man, because you are a master trader, already a master trader. So you know what you're doing. You're already telling me, look at this stock, look at that stock, and you know what? Most of the time, you're right. They do move up. So you're doing your thing, and I appreciate that, man, and and everything. You're gonna do real good, man.
We just
No
gotta
doubt.
get you a picture on your Twitter, man.
I've been
I know,
telling
I
them we
know.
got
I'm
we
looking.
got we
I'm
got to
my
do
name.
that.
My name is Mister. My name is going Mister Classic. I got to find a picture for
All right,
Mister Classic.
get classic. All right, man.
Good classic, Mar.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, you fellas have a good night. Thank you for everything,
All
man.
right, take care, brother.
All
Make
right,
it
fellas.
free,
Mister
free something.
Free Dreams. What's
Hi
going on?
guys, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty
Yes.
good.
Great. Yeah, I just wanted to ask your opinion on what's going on with OTC markets. Let me just briefly tell you about myself. I started stock trading in March 2020, so don't have much experience. And then, like, I started in SPACs, did my first good profit on Nikola, and then I think later, like in the year in November, I moved to OTCs, and on February 10, I had like over 500k profits, pure profits. That was the
Wow.
peak, right?
Wow.
And I was like euphoric, like fuck, man, I'm gonna quit my job soon, right? So,
Right.
and again, keep in mind, I'm new to it, right? So,
Right.
and
Right.
then over the next, like up to today, I was just watching all the profits like completely melt and disappear. And at this point, I'm like, should I
No,
move?
damn.
I mean, like I have like less than 50,000k left. So I'm like down 450 from the top, from the peak of my portfolio. I have like over 100 stocks in my portfolio, mostly OTCs. And I'm like starting at this point thinking, should I just cash in, move completely like to crypto? I'm doing a little bet on crypto. I was like, like trying out on crypto.
Right.
So I was just trying, to ask you for opinion. What do you think? Is OTC dead as dead, or is it gonna come back, or what's going on? Because at this point, I'm completely frustrated. It's been like a Chinese torture, like drip, drip, drip every day. It's just melting, and it's very painful to watch. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
You could handle that one.
one of the things that we saw with the OTCs that the OTCs were very, very overbought at one point, and it seemed like everything was euphoria. And part of that is you took on huge risk because you let those stocks just rally and just continue to rally. The problem is that you looked at them too much as investments and you weren't scaling out of positions. Now, what happens is, and I always say this, Linda Rashke always says, when the hardest part is to sell the stock, and when there are no more buyers and these stocks continue to go up, the sellers come in. And when the sellers come in and there are no more buyers, they start kind of like just collapsing the stock. And that's what happened to a lot of people when they were chasing these stocks that were like breaking all-time highs. And you remember there was a lot of OTCs that were just unbelievable
Yeah.
moves.
Collapsing.
And yeah, but they made amazing moves. The problem
Oh,
is
of
with a
course.
lot of
Yeah.
people is that they see their accounts and they're seeing, man, I'm gonna hit that million. And
Yeah.
then when
Yep.
and
That's gonna
Exactly,
happen.
exactly. I'm like, I'm gonna be
You
member of the
gotta
club.
lock profits, man. You gotta lock profits on the
And
way up, man.
exactly, that's what I failed to do because I read like being in newbie and everything. Everybody's like, those quotes from from Buffett and everybody
Yeah.
like hold. Only those who hold, they make money, they become millions. And I think I overheld basically. I never
Yeah.
sold anything.
Yeah.
right,
But don't give up,
but
man. You can't give
you
up
did
though.
something very, very difficult though. A lot of the people that do tend to trade, they're taking small gains. Just remember that. Most of these companies, all right, especially these hedge funds, they're making like, I'm going to say like 4 or 5% per annum. And for them, because they're dealing with such big amounts of money, they're happy. Like the people that are contracting these guys to run their portfolios, they're happy. But you outperform them. The issue with you is that you were
Lock
so
it.
new to it that you didn't understand. Oh shit! At some point, I have to lock profits because the moment that there are no more buyers in this is just going to collapse. And I posted, I think if you go on my Twitter, I have a chart, and it's a emotional chart. And you have to understand, when a stock rallies that high and the move is really steep and you hit a peak, you're going to get one opportunity to sell. So what happens is you'll roll over, you'll create a higher low, and once you hit that 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 higher low, that's telling you, oh shit, that's it. This market is going to just drop because it's not breaking into a higher high. So
But the problem
you're
is, how do you know when is the peak? For me, it's like
okay. So
it's like
That's up to you.
I'm gonna explain to you. So let's say you
shit.
you
Hmm.
bought a stock, like let's say let me give you one. What was that stock that people were trading? The Humble. Remember Humble? So
Yeah,
Humble
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
rallied.
definitely remember Humble.
So Humble rallied, right? And when Humble rallied, it broke into like the dollar range, right? And then what happened was a lot of people were still buying the thing. But then when it rolled over, right? That was basically showing you a market top. Okay. And then when it rolled over, it bounced. But then that bounce didn't go as high as the previous high. You have to see that stock breaks above the high. Now, I'm going to tell you a
Yeah,
secret though.
it went almost to $8 pre
Right.
split, and I'm like,
But
wow,
but
when
but
is the belief
there
in
you
this?
go. So I'm going to teach you a secret. So one of the things that you can use is you can use a moving average. Some people like to use the 7-day moving average. Some people like to use the 5-day moving average. Some people like to use the 8-day moving average. I like to use the 8-day moving average. So let's say if you buy a stock, right? And you're buying, let's say, $2,500 worth of that stock, and that stock starts to rally, but it gets above the 8-day moving average extremely high. For me, it's up to and over 100% away from the 8-day moving average. I immediately lock profits. Okay. But if I know that the stock is extremely strong, I'm not going to sell my entire position. So what I'll do is I'll sell 75% of my shares, and then I'll hold 25,000 or 25% of my shares. Now, get this, because I want you to understand this. When I log profits, I'll write it in my log and I'll say to myself, okay, I just made $5,000 off of this trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 30% of that $5,000, which is going to be $1,500. If it pulls back, I'm going to add at the 8-day moving average. So now guess what? Now the thing pulls back to the 8-day moving average and it continues to go up. It continues to go up, continues to go up. As long as it stays above the 8-day moving average, I do not sell it. That's called just in case. Now, the issue that you're telling me, and you may say, yeah, but I don't like that because I want to make as much money. I can't help you with that because that's called greed. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so what you have to say to yourself, okay, the way I'm going to trade is I'm going to create a personal profit margin. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. When you put in money in the bank, does the bank ever give you a good interest rate on or a good return on an APY? Do they give you anything, an annual percentage rate that you could say, shit, if I put $1,000, I'm going to make a lot of money?
Nope.
Of course not.
Of course not. So you have to understand the reason we do this is to make money, make our money work for us. So now what I want you to do is I want you to look at most of the stocks that you traded and then come up with an average mean. What I mean by an average mean is look how high those stocks went from the point that you added them. If you see that the average is, let's say, 125%, right? Then you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to pick a personal profit margin that's equivalent or close to that number. And I'm going to be loyal to that number. So let's say tomorrow you buy a stock, ABCD, and that stock gives you a good entry. After you buy it, immediately set your sell order. Let's say you say that your personal profit margin is 80%. You're going to sell 75% of your shares at 80%. So that guarantees that you just made your money plus the percentage. The problem with human beings is that if it continues to go up, they get pissed. I don't get pissed
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
if you,
It's kind
Yeah.
of like,
I don't get
why did I sell it?
exactly, but you still have
You just get.
25% left
Mm,
over. But you have to
Yeah.
understand that your goal is to continue to do 80%. Let's say you trade five stocks, and out of those five stocks, four of those stocks hit your PPM. That's 4 times 80. That's 320%. Can you imagine if you're compounding, meaning that you make 1,000 and then you make 1,800 and then you take 1,800 and then you make 80% of that? Can you imagine how much money you're going to have in a year? Think of the rule, right? The 100% rule. Can you can you imagine with $1,000 you hit 100% and then 100% and then 100% and 100%? Within 2 years, within a year, you're already a millionaire if you're compounding. So
Right.
what I'm saying is don't don't look at your account based on individual. Base it on a strategy that's going to make more money for you. Because I don't know what you do for a living, but the most finite thing that you have, the most precious thing that you have is time. What you don't want to do is be wasting your time. And look, $500,000 for many people would give up, but
I know.
you still have $50,000. So knowing this
Yep.
information, man, you can get this shit back in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So you basically you, but on like a high level, you think that OTCs are not dead yet, right?
No,
I know it's not a financial advice.
I think
Yeah.
that they capitulated. I think capitulation happened. I think a lot of
Right.
stocks were overbought and they pulled back to a point that now they created a floor. And if they didn't create a floor, just don't worry about it. If the stock, if you get into something, let's say you buy something at 10 cents, right? And then that stock goes below your 8 cent level. You say, I'm only taking 20% risk here. And the stock closes below 8 cents 2 times. You get the fuck out and you go on to the next one. Now the next one hits your PPM. Then you go to the next one. Don't look at things through the negative. And I went over that. What you're doing is because of your experience now, your experience is making you hesitant. It's making you nervous. It's making you fearful. Don't think like that. Nobody knows what's the outcome. But what you do know is belief. Believe in everything that you do as much as you believe in breathing. Like right now, we're talking on the phone. At any point, did you say to yourself, oh shit, I can't breathe? No, this thing has to be autonomous. Okay? Autonomous means that it's basically natural, it's automatic. You understand me? That's how I
Right.
want you to start looking at your trades. Okay? If I'm buying A, B, C, D, I'm immediately setting my sell order to 80%. Okay, the next stock
Right.
comes, I'm going to buy and I'm going to immediately set it for 80%. The beauty of it, you're still going to hold 25%. And if the stock pulls back and you want to add more, you're just adding 25 to 30% of your profit. So that means that you're always building, you're always going up, and you're going to start
Right.
seeing your chart move up beautifully. Let me tell you, remember they said you can take Warren Buffett's all his millions away and then give him $100, right? And leave him out in the middle of nowhere. He'll make it back.
Right.
It's the same thing with you. You'll do it again. But
Yeah.
okay,
Thanks.
You
you're
know
welcome.
what?
You're welcome.
You got a thread radio that is really good for people like Free.
Yeah,
That thread, it's called what I look for in OTC.
right.
And so what I was gonna say is for Free to read that thread
Yeah,
and study it, because that thread is really really good for people that that are either new
having
or
trouble.
stuck or
Yeah.
having
Sorry, where is
trouble.
it again? How can I find it?
It's a thread called what I look for.
Hmm.
What I look
And
for in the OTC and
yeah,
then post radio. You know what? I'll see if I can find it and then I'll
see
retweet
if
it.
you can find it and pin it.
Yeah.
Pin it on the thing. I don't know if you want to pin it, but yeah, that's that right there. That thread is really good, man.
Thank you very much, guys. I mean, I wish I knew it back in February and, start taking profits and have your strategy back then. But I guess, you learn the hard way for me, being stupid like that and
No,
just
no,
holding.
but
Nah,
remember,
nah,
but
nah.
look, Free, look, in the end, brother, you know this, because I mean, in the end, okay, everything that we do, there is no right and wrong. You know this because we all have experiences. It's like the experience to,
Yeah, unless
right,
like me, you told wife about your profits and then
yeah,
you hear every day, why didn't you pay out mortgage? It could be free now.
right.
Mm.
But that's part of it. And now you know, and now you understand that process. So don't leave that experience. Like love it. You know, there's something called amor fati,
Yeah,
and it means love fate. So anything that happens, just love it. If you got this experience, love it. That was a
Yeah.
beautiful experience in the sense that you
Yep.
created that. You made 500,000 out of a small investment, and you could do it again. Just
Yep.
believe in it as much as you believe in breathing, and execute.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the education and encouragement. Thank
You're
you, guys.
welcome, man.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
Bree.
All right, so Hustle, what things are you looking at this week?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. My number one that I'm looking at right now is APTY. It's just got a lot of momentum, a lot of anticipation with the Sparrow release, and it's just it's a great stock. So there's a lot of DD on Twitter that people can look for, and if anybody that wants to get on here and talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we were
But
gonna
that's my number
we were
one.
gonna go over a couple of things, and I'm glad that you brought that up
Yeah,
because if you look
yeah,
at, and I'm gonna explain to you why I like it. All right, technically, the stock never closed below that point zero 0.01 level. It actually pulled back from 256 to 91, and then it went to one. And the reason I didn't buy it again was because I said to myself, if this thing rolls over to point zero 0.01 and it loses that 91 previous, that's a lower low. So I
right,
needed confirmation, and I spoke to you about this. I said it
yeah,
has to close above 0.014, and if it closes above 0.014, I'm going to add to my position. And you saw me; I added to my position.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You did, yeah.
so
Good
now,
stock elephant.
I'm going to explain to you what I foresee happening now. Now you're trading
Hmm.
above a key level wedge. If you retest that 1.4, that's going to give you a buy zone between 0.014 to 1.6, a nice consolidation there. I think you put in a high this week at 168. You close above 168 two times. There's not that much resistance to 256, right? And
Right.
now I go back.
That's the number. Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
the one that
that was the
we gotta
previous, right. That was
test
the
next. Yep.
previous rally high from that point zero zero one
256.
one five to point zero two five six that I did that beautiful
256.
move. So then
Yep.
if you close above 256 on two consecutive closes and you start channeling there, you have upside to point zero 0.03 and then to point zero 0.0456. Why am I coming up with those
Hmm.
numbers? Because those are previous highs. I'm not just
Right.
pulling these numbers out of my ass. Okay, now
Right.
if you look at what Apti has been saying, they've been very, very strategic with their news. I think somebody had mentioned, hey, radio, why are you posting this old news? Because it's very, very important why you understand that the latest news, they're working on the technology. They're not just putting out
Right.
some garbage in order for
Right.
it to just be something that is non-functional. Okay, so I would much rather have them take their time and put out some type of tech that's going to be tested. And they said it. We want to run tests before we go 100% on this. So these are things that I like within a company. All right. And one of the things also is that you're seeing that a lot of people are really getting behind the APTY. And when I see that,
Yeah.
it shows
Yep.
strength and it shows sentiment. Okay. So, we understand that Tether, okay, has an issue with Binance, right? An audit may happen. We know that there's restructuring as far as, what a stable coin and security measures as far as, you know, um,
Regulation.
regulations, right? That I feel is a good thing because now it's
Yep.
seriously taken. And then on top of
Yep.
that, I spoke to you. I said that banks are now starting to get into digital currencies.
Stable coins. Yeah. I
Just
think
did
PayPal
just
just came
digital
out with some
currencies
news.
in a whole. So what
Yeah.
that tells me is that this is the time to start looking at cryptocurrencies, stable coins, anything that's related to it. Okay. Now, if it closes below 0.011, I'm going to reassess. But at this point, we're not. We're trading at 0.016. So that's why I like Apti a lot. Okay.
Mhm.
Right. So everything is basically balances of probability. All right. We got
You got somebody. Yeah. Stock elephant.
yeah, I think this is gonna be the last person because I'm gonna get
Yeah.
my throat is gonna lock up.
Yeah.
Mr. Stock Elephant, what's going on, Stock Elephant?
Think you gotta unmute your mic.
Yeah,
Stock elephant. That's
I'm
on the
I'm
bottom left.
How you
I'm
doing,
muting mic.
Radio and Hustle? How you doing, guys?
Good.
Yeah, can you hear
Good,
me?
good.
Good, good.
Happy New Year, brother. Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm happy in those spaces. It's been a while, you know. So I want to say
Yes.
thanks. I mean,
Yeah.
hi to you guys
Thank you. Thank you.
and
Thank you.
happy New Year. But when I heard about APTY, I'm like, hey, no, I gotta get into this space and say something. You guys already know I've been in APTY for a while. You see what I'm saying? I can sell my
Th-
matter for APTY. I'm in,
Oh, don't say that.
you know. So
Don't. Hopefully
I'm
your
just no,
hopefully your
I'm
mother
just
He's
in.
in.
You see what I'm saying?
hopefully
But
your mother's not on listening, man, because then you're not gonna get any
yeah, I'm
warm
just
food.
messing with you guys, you know. But I
Yeah.
mean, I feel
Yeah.
strong about
He's just.
IT. You know, I mean, I
Yeah.
feel strong. I've been training like every day. You see, and
Yeah.
we have a big army, you know, and I feel strong about it.
Yeah.
As far as the OTC and the trading, I was off for a while, as Radio knows. You know, I told him that because it was bad. You know, I mean, the whole market was bad. You see what I'm saying? So I have to
Yeah.
take a break, you know, because we kept, I mean, breaking floor after floor. So at one point I was like, what the fuck is going on, you know? And I
Yeah.
have to take a break. But now I'm getting back to it, you know, because sometimes you have to assess
Yeah.
the whole market. You have to assess your money, you know, and I mean, take a decision. So for me right
Yeah.
now, I think is the best time to get back into the OTC. I don't play too much like
Yep.
small cap and stuff like that, you know. I was not into
Right.
the crypto stuff. So I just have to take a break and look at everything and
That's
see
good
how
though.
things going. Yeah.
Yep.
So right now I feel more confident about, you know, I mean a little bit more
Yep.
confident, you know. But the only stock
Good.
I've been in since it was bad and is getting better is Apti. You see what I'm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Beautiful.
So that's the only thing.
Yep.
So, but I mean,
Well,
other than that,
you're
I
gonna
just
do
want to say
good,
hi
man.
to you guys, you know, and thank you for everything. And I hope that we're still gonna have those space often because, as you guys
Yeah.
know, it help people and it kind of bring the confidence. You know, the more space
Mm.
we do,
Right.
maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks, it help I mean, it help us.
Mm.
It help the new people, like the guy who was just talking. You know what I'm saying? It will help him.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
next like month or two, he might get 25, 50% of what he lost. You know, so it bring
Yeah.
the awareness and it bring confidence to the new
Yeah.
investor, to the new trader. So I think we should have it like more often. You see, I mean that's about.
No.
All right.
So some of the things that right now, the issue that was happening, and the way that they were stifling people's voices, that was the main concern for me. I knew that it was coming. As far as mentioning things on Twitter,
Yeah.
I always give my disclaimer, but at the same time there is a fine line. So right now there's a lot of kind of flack happening with Twitter in general. I don't know if you know, but Jack Dorsey's not running Twitter anymore. I think he was blocked by the new CEO. So the reason we have to be very, very kind of we have to understand,
Careful. Careful.
careful, right? We have to be cautious, but at the same time, I am going to say now that I will be doing these Twitter spaces a little bit more. I think this Thursday, people that are listening right now, we're going to have a CEO interview on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're going to do this so people can kind of be able to ask questions, a Q&A. We can also kind of garner a little bit more of awareness and a little bit of transparency with these companies. I think that it helps. It's always good to hear from these people that are running these companies, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna try to start working on a bigger YouTube channel, bigger YouTube audience. And the main thing is just bringing some information, right? So you guys kind of distinguish what information you can use, whether you're going to use it or whether it's going to help you out. It's entirely up to you. At no point am I telling you guys to buy these stocks or anything. Now, as far as small caps, OTCs, everything works in cycles, right? We could see tomorrow that the small caps start to rally. I mean, it's infinite possibilities. Don't give up on something. Okay, just remember, there's always going to be opportunity. I'll give you an example. If I look at a stock, right now, I'm looking at GNUS, Genus. That chart looks beautiful. GNUS, right? It's above the 8-day moving average with the 8 into 21 MA cross. I may add it. Don't don't give up on things. Never give up on things. Okay, always understand that there's opportunity as much as you believe in it. okay? Because emotions are your biggest weakness, okay? We operate via the ego, and you guys sometimes allow that ego to overtake and kind of like I notice it. Like a lot of you guys get very, very fearful. Fear doesn't exist. The reason that we used fear was when the saber-tooth tiger was there. We don't pet it, right? But there's no reason to be fearful to lose, right? Because if you lose, you lose. You win, you lose. All right. So overall, don't give up on sectors. Don't give up, and don't let previous experiences kind of stir up what you're here to do, and you're here for infinite return, right? The laws of infinite return, and you know it. The only issue is that we get kind of greedy, right? And then we don't lock profits, and then we give stuff back. But utilize this as an experience, all right? Because you know how to trade small caps, you know how to trade OTCs. It's the same shit. All this stuff, it's the same shit. But right now, right, OTCs are getting a little bit more juice, and yes, APTI is extremely strong. It's one of the top tickers that people are talking about, so that's good. So
Can I
that's
add something?
what's up.
I mean, the thing about it is like people are fearful because sometimes they don't have money to lose. So my advice to people is like, if you cannot afford to lose, don't trade. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes people don't have like they play. I mean, they trade with the money that they cannot afford to lose. Basically, you see what I'm
Okay,
saying? They
I
play.
understand. There's something called Maya, and I'm not gonna say what you're saying is not true, but there's something called Maya, and Maya is an illusion. And just understand this: when you believe and you feel that you do not have, you will not have. You're operating in the not have. I was there. I was there, and what you're saying, I was there. I remember when I was growing up. My parents were always working. I couldn't risk anything. My parents never risked anything. But if you don't risk anything, then you're never going to experience what risk is. And risk is basically the entire existence of the humankind. We have to take on some risk. And if I'm willing to risk, I'd rather risk money that has no intrinsic value. Okay. So don't feel like you don't have. And it's a very, very important kind of thing to kind of understand. But the mind is very, very powerful. When you wake up in the morning, say, I have everything and anything, I can have anything that I want in the morning, right? Say it. Okay. I know it sounds kind of kooky, but at the same time, if you throw $100 bill in your pocket and you know that you always have it, you're always going to have it. This has been something that's been taught to us to, to kind of feel like we're feeble, like we don't have. It's a way to control us. So I understand some people have different situations, but in the end, once you start realizing this, that you're operating in the have, you could have as much as you desire. I know that sounds kind of kooky, it sounds kind of stupid, but I didn't learn that till a later time. Don't be afraid to take on risk. You understand me? And this is not. It could be with anything, crypto, OTCs. It could be with an investment that you're entrepreneurship. Look, most of these guys, man, they get backed up against the wall before they succeed. Part of that is that you have to experience that shit. I remember when I opened up my second gym and I couldn't pay rent, and I needed to go through that experience to understand. Oh shit, there is a way, and I laugh about it because me and Hustle had conversations about this. You remember Hustle? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a point in
yeah.
time where
Hold
you
on.
gotta go through that shit. You understand me? So I don't know about giving up. I don't know about that. But you never want to trade with money you can't afford to lose, though. So don't trade with your rent money. Don't trade with your food money, your baby's bottles money. You know, I'm
Exactly. That's what I mean.
I understand that, but there's a certain point that you have to break above or break out of, and that's that fear of loss. Because I just think that a lot of people trade with, as soon as they buy that shit, they think they lost. And that's not a way to kind of think, especially when you're trading. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, guys.
All right, man. I will talk to you guys. We're gonna do a meeting with the CEO meeting on Thursday, 4:30. Hope you guys are all there. I'm excited to announce who that company is and what's it gonna be on Wednesday. So be on the lookout. I'm gonna let you guys know like around 3:30 p.m.
And other than that, I really appreciate you guys spending your hour and a half with us. And yeah, definitely, we're gonna continue doing these Twitter Spaces, and just glad to have you guys kind of interact with us. All right. Hey, Hustle, thank you,
Yep.
man. Thank